A burned-out lot, a rusted-out shed, a bare cargo van interior, a $98,000 price tag on screen. 10 feet by 11 feet. That's it. That's the entire footprint we're starting with in story number 1. Smaller than most people's bedrooms. And by the end of this video, you're going to watch that same footprint become someone's entire life. But here's the twist nobody expects. In 2026, tiny homes aren't just for minimalists with a Pinterest board anymore. They're being used to rebuild lives after wildfires took everything. They're replacing $520,000 mortgages with $52,000 price tags. And somewhere in Latvia right now, a company is shipping AI-powered homes that expand themselves at the push of a button. We're about to walk through the transformations that shouldn't have worked. On paper, on budget, on square footage, and somehow did. Some of these builds cost less than a used car. One of them replaced a family's entire house after it burned to the ground. And by the end, you'll understand exactly why a market that was worth $6 billion last year is on track to blow past that number every single year through the next decade. Before we get into it, if you've ever daydreamed about walking away from a mortgage, downsizing your life, or just want to see what's actually possible in under 400 square feet, hit subscribe right now. We're breaking down real builds, real numbers, and real transformations every week. And trust me, story number 3 on this list is going to make you rethink everything you think you know about small living. Okay, let's get into it. Let's start small. Painfully small. Picture a shed. Not a converted shed with plumbing already roughed in. A shed. 10 feet by 11 feet of bare wood framing. Originally built to store lawn equipment and paint cans. No insulation. No windows worth mentioning. No reason, really, for anyone to look at it and think home. And yet, that's exactly what one determined homeowner did. Piece by piece, this person transformed that leftover storage structure into a warm, fully functional living space. Insulated walls, a proper sleeping loft, a kitchenette, and enough clever storage tricks to make an IKEA showroom jealous. Why does this story matter so much right now? Because it captures exactly why the tiny home movement has exploded from a niche lifestyle choice into what's now being called a full-blown housing solution. Rising housing costs, environmental concerns, a collective sense that maybe, just maybe, we've all been overpaying for square footage we never actually use. Here's the number that should stop you in your tracks. The median price of a new home in the United States has pushed past $417,000. Compare that to the average tiny home, which lands somewhere in the $45,000 to $52,000 range. In some cases, dramatically less. That's not a small discount. That's roughly an 87% reduction in cost for a home that still keeps you warm, dry, and, as this shed proves, genuinely comfortable. And this is the pattern you're going to see over and over in this video. It's never really about the size of the space. It's about what happens when someone refuses to accept that small means unlivable. Now let's talk about a story with real emotional weight behind it. Somewhere in Florida, a couple named Meredith and Cody found themselves starting over. Their journey into tiny living wasn't about chasing a trend. It echoed something a lot of tiny homeowners quietly share: the desire for resilience, creativity, and a simpler, more meaningful way of living after loss. What makes their story stand out is the financing side, which most people never think about when they picture tiny homes. There's a common myth that tiny houses are some kind of financial Wild West. Cash only, no banks involved, good luck. Not true. Around 75% of buyers from established tiny house builders actually secure a mortgage for their build, the exact same way you'd finance a traditional home. Established companies have spent years building relationships with lenders specifically so people like Meredith and Cody don't have to choose between tiny and financeable. Their tiny home became more than shelter. It became proof that starting over doesn't have to mean starting from nothing. And they're not alone. Just this year, a custom-built tiny home named Felicity was constructed for a family that lost absolutely everything in the Palisades fire, a devastating wildfire that tore through their community. Builders worked with the family to create a thoughtful, deeply personalized design that gave them something the insurance check alone never could. A place that actually felt like theirs again, built in a fraction of the time a traditional rebuild would take. This is the emotional core of the tiny home movement in 2026 that doesn't get talked about enough. It's not just downsizing for downsizing's sake. For a growing number of people, it's disaster recovery. It's dignity. It's a roof over your head in months instead of years. Okay, now for the transformation that might be the most satisfying to actually watch unfold. Meet Nate. Zero prior building experience. A completely bare, low-roof Mercedes-Benz Sprinter cargo van. The kind of empty metal shell that makes most people's stomachs turn just looking at it. No walls. No flooring. No idea, on day one, whether any of this was actually going to work. And instead of quietly disappearing into a garage for 6 months, Nate documented the entire build as a start-to-finish time-lapse, watching a cold, echoey metal box slowly transform into a warm, wood-lined, fully livable home on wheels. This is where tiny living intersects with something even bigger: mobility. Van life and mobile tiny homes have become one of the fastest-growing segments in this entire industry. And it's not hard to see why. Remote work isn't going anywhere. Digital nomads don't want to be tied to a 30-year mortgage in one zip code. And a mobile tiny home offers something a stationary one never could: the ability to relocate without ever selling your house. Industry analysts are watching this segment closely for a reason. Mobile tiny homes. Units built on specialized trailer chassis designed to balance weight, structural integrity, and genuine drivability are projected to be one of the standout growth categories in the tiny home market over the next several years, driven almost entirely by remote workers who want flexibility without giving up a real, permanent-feeling home. Nate's Van didn't just become a place to sleep. It became a passport. Now, let's fast forward to the edge of what's actually possible in 2026, because this next one sounds almost like science fiction. A company called AC Future has been turning heads with something they call AI Transformer homes. These are 400 square foot smart homes priced around $98,000. And here's the part that makes people do a double take. They expand. The design integrates AI technology that manages heating, lighting, and security systems automatically. And over 300 units have already been pre-ordered ahead of deliveries starting later this year. This is the future edge of tiny living, and it's happening faster than most people realize. We're not just talking about clever built-in shelving anymore. We're talking about AI-driven whole home automation that can cut monthly electricity costs by 18 to 25% for residents living off-grid. Robotic and modular furniture systems designed to transform a single room into multiple functions with one tap. Smart appliances shrunk down to save up to 30% more space than traditional versions, without losing performance. Micro-security systems engineered specifically for compact spaces, giving full monitoring without eating up limited wall space. Think about what that actually means. A tiny home in 2026 isn't a compromise anymore. In some cases, it's more technologically advanced than the traditional house down the street. And this is exactly why global market analysts are projecting the tiny homes industry to keep expanding steadily over the coming decade, driven by companies racing to prove that small and cutting edge aren't opposites. They're the same thing. Here's a transformation that flips the entire concept of a tiny home upside down. Literally. An Australian builder recently unveiled a design that breaks one of the tiny home movement's oldest, most unquestioned rules. Traditionally, bedrooms go up in the loft, and the kitchen and living space stay down on the ground floor where there's more headroom to move around. This build did the exact opposite, placing all 3 bedrooms on the ground floor and pushing the kitchen, living room, and bathroom up onto an elevated second level. It sounds like a small detail. It's not. That single decision reshapes how a family actually lives inside 400 square feet, giving kids or guests private, full-height bedrooms instead of cramped sleeping lofts, while making the shared social spaces feel more open and elevated. This is what industry designers mean when they say tiny homes have stopped being cute and started being a genuine category of serious architecture. The builds coming out this year aren't chasing a lifestyle aesthetic for the gram. They're solving real, practical problems: family space, four-season comfort, material quality, and legitimate mobility. The same problems architects have wrestled with in full-size homes for decades, just compressed into a fraction of the footprint. Let's zoom out for a second, because the individual stories are incredible, but the bigger picture is what should really grab your attention. The global tiny homes market was valued at roughly $6.17 billion in 2025, and it's projected to keep climbing year over year for the next several years. Some forecasts even put the broader compact housing category, which includes park models, modular units, and manufactured homes, worth well over $20 billion this year alone. And the reason is simple. The math is just too good to ignore. Here's a side-by-side that puts it all in perspective. A park model tiny home, around 399 square feet, starts near $43,000. That works out to roughly $107 per square foot. A single-wide manufactured home, at over 1,100 square feet, can run about $78,000 factory direct, roughly $68 per square foot. A double wide at over 1,600 square feet lands around $90,000, about $54 per square foot. Compare all of that to a traditional site-built home, which now averages somewhere between $175 and $300 per square foot. That same 3-bedroom family home, built on-site in 2026, now costs somewhere between $315,000 and $540,000. The factory-built, tiny adjacent alternative can deliver the same livable square footage for 40 to 60% less, without sacrificing code certification or mortgage eligibility. The average tiny home also uses about 80% less energy than a standard modern US home. That's not just a cost story. That's an entire lifestyle shift happening in real time. And it's why builders, lenders, and even city planners are being forced to take the movement seriously in a way they never did a decade ago. By now, you're probably wondering, what actually separates a $30,000 tiny home from a $200,000 one? Because both exist side by side under the exact same label. Here's the honest breakdown. The budget tier, roughly $15,000 to $50,000, usually means a DIY build or a basic kit shell. Think simple materials, a compact loft, minimal finishes, and a lot of sweat equity. This is where stories like our shed transformation live. Resourceful, hands-on, and proof that you don't need a massive budget to build something that genuinely works. The mid-range tier, typically $60,000 to $130,000, is where most professionally built, move-in ready tiny homes land. Full kitchens, proper insulation, real bathrooms, and quality finishes that hold up over years, not months. The luxury tier, anywhere from $150,000 well past $300,000, is where things get genuinely jaw-dropping. We're talking full-size appliances, glass day lounges, architect-designed layouts, premium materials, and in some cases, features you wouldn't even expect in a full-size house. One recent build even squeezed a proper day lounge with floor-to-ceiling glass and under 500 square feet, proving that tiny and luxury are no longer contradictions. They're just a design challenge. The wild part, all three of these tiers are growing at the same time. This isn't a market where cheap is pushing out expensive, or luxury is pricing out budget builders. It's expanding in every direction at once, which is usually the clear sign that a trend has become something much more permanent. Before we wrap up, let's kill a few myths, because these are the exact reasons so many people talk themselves out of tiny living before they even get started. Myth 1, you can't get a mortgage for a tiny home. We already busted this one earlier, but it's worth repeating. Roughly 3 out of 4 buyers through established builders finance their tiny home the same way they finance any other property. Lenders have caught up to the movement. Myth 2, tiny homes are only for single people or couples. Not anymore. Reverse floor plans like the one we covered, bedrooms down, living space up, are being specifically engineered for families. Builders are designing multi-bedroom layouts that give kids their own real rooms, not just a shared loft. Myth 3, you're constantly downsizing your comfort. Between AI, climate control, robotic furniture that reconfigures a single room into a bedroom, office, and living room throughout the day, and full-size appliances shrunk to fit compact kitchens without losing performance, the comfort gap between tiny and traditional homes has nearly closed. Some of these builds even come with features like glass-walled lounges or app-controlled everything that plenty of traditional homeowners don't have. Myth 4, it's a fringe lifestyle nobody actually sticks with. Tell that to the psychological research showing that people living in well-organized, Intentional small spaces report lower stress levels and improved mental health. As minimalist author Joshua Becker puts it, the philosophy was never really about having less. It's about making room for more time, more freedom, more meaning. A market projected to keep expanding steadily through the next decade isn't a fringe experiment. It's a housing category that's here to stay. So maybe you're sitting there thinking, okay, this is fascinating, but is this actually realistic for me? Here's the honest answer. If you already own a shed, a garage, or even just a flat piece of land, you're closer to a tiny home than you think. Our very first story proved that a structure as small as 110 square feet can become a real, warm, functional home with the right plan and enough patience. If you're starting from zero, a basic kit shell can get you into a shell structure for well under $50,000, with room to finish it out yourself over time, the same way countless DIY builders have done. And if disaster ever does strike, a fire, a flood, a sudden need to rebuild fast, the tiny home world has quietly become one of the most compassionate, practical rebuilding tools available. Custom builders are now specifically structuring their businesses around getting displaced families back into a real, personalized home in months, not years. The barrier to entry has never been lower, the technology has never been more advanced, and the financing has never been more accessible. The only thing that's changed is whether people are willing to reconsider what enough space actually means. So here's where that leaves us. A 10 by 11 shed became a home. A grieving family got their dignity back through a custom build after losing everything to fire. A guy with zero experience turned a bare metal van into a house that could take him anywhere. And somewhere out there, a $98,000 smart home is quietly learning your daily routine, so it can manage your lighting and heating before you even ask. None of these transformations looked possible at the starting line. That's the whole point. Tiny homes keep proving, over and over, that the size of the space was never really the obstacle. It was our imagination. If this video opened your eyes to what's actually happening in the tiny home world right now, do me a favor. Hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications, because we're covering a brand new transformation story every single week. And some of the builds coming up are even more unbelievable than what you just watched. Drop a comment and tell me which transformation in this video surprised you the most. I read every single one. Thanks for watching Tiny Home World. I'll see you in the next one.